Pete Privy is perfectly piloting a drone in the parking lot, at least until the time comes to land. His friend is demonstrating how to grab one out of midair, but he turns around while talking, and a propeller socks him right in the eye. At 10 seconds in, you can see his friend grab his face and then stumble away in surprise. Someone hurries closely behind, ready to catch him if he passes out from the blow, and the video ends. This picture shows how closely Pete's friend came to losing an eye. I think a hit any higher would have cost him his sight. As Pete says, the moral of the story is that caution is always required around drones, so never let your guard down unless you want to look like this. Hungry for a midnight snack? This video will get you over your nighttime hunger. Published to YouTube in August of 2020, Paranormal Nightmares explains, my husband got up to grab a bowl of cereal, and we had the security cam recording in our kitchen because earlier in the day a cupboard opened on its own. We decided to record overnight, but this happened and it scared him. In the video, the dude is nonchalantly making himself a bowl of cereal as mentioned, but when he goes to grab the milk from the fridge, the cereal box moves clear across the counter on its own. Surprised, the man brushes it off, but as he pours his milk, the box moves slightly, and when he returns to the fridge, it slides clear across the counter again, finally falling to the floor. Needless to say, this guy takes this as his cue to book it out of the kitchen. Many YouTubers advise this poor haunted couple to move, while others are more worried about whether or not the guy eventually got his cereal, because you know, priorities. Look out the window between the blinds to see what Lori Smith claims she sees every night, the fearsome cryptid known only as the Dog Man. Lori's fearless cat always looks out the window when it comes around, ready to take the Dog Man head on, unafraid to stare back into its glowing yellow eyes.
They're out there.
Alright, I will admit that I was 100% ready to disprove this video. I knew that this was just the mirror image of the cat's eyes reflecting back due to a weird camera angle, but then I got to this part at 1 minute and 55 seconds and knew I was wrong. Watch very closely. She gets the cat's attention. The cat's head turns.
Kiki, come here, Kiki girl.
1 second later, at 1 minute and 56 seconds, the cat is looking the other way, and yet the eye remains staring straight ahead. The Old South Pittsburgh Hospital in Tennessee is one of the most haunted hospitals on Earth. So much so that it's been officially designated as a paranormal research center on Google. Almost everyone that goes there has a paranormal experience. Take a YouTube channel called Lost Souls Paranormal for example. One of the few research teams brave enough to go exploring the haunted hospital's basement. An investigator named Bailey splits from the group, and this is what he records underground. Running footsteps are coming from all directions, and are possibly even in the same room that he is. Suddenly, the idea of ghost hunting isn't as fun as it was 5 minutes ago, and so he doesn't go any further. This is enough paranormal evidence to convince me, but let me know if you think it was his friends making the noise. Years prior, another paranormal investigator named L.W. Drums was close to the same spot of the hospital and experienced strange ghost activity as well.
Come on now, you're being really boring with us.
The voice of somebody who isn't there mocks the investigator with an exaggerated sigh, and a shadow appears at around this time too.
Come on now, you're being really boring with us. Something just touched my head. Ooh.
Something jabs him from behind. When he turns around, the mysterious camera goes out of focus like something is right up on the lens, and I don't know if this is a third member of the team, but at 29 seconds a mysterious figure is definitely just sitting on the other side of the room staring at them. Who floats there? Published in March of 2009, this scary video is, as Tracy writes, absolutely petrifying. The group is filming up the stairs as they think someone's there. It's completely dark at first, but then someone turns on a flashlight. They capture what they think is two figures standing at the top landing. After a moment, a quick figure that's just a white light runs across the landing.
The light's only just gone across the top of the landing, and that's moving.
Tracy thinks it looks like a little baby. While our eyes can play tricks on us, are all our eyes playing the same trick? A person is recording at an old memorial site that is apparently haunted when something gets his attention. When they turn back around to record some more, they chance upon a girl dressed in modern clothes with long black hair covering her face and chest. Then she's gone. Something about this video seems natural and unplanned. I will admit that there is somewhat of a delayed reaction during the double take, but maybe whoever was recording could only see it on their screen and not in front of them. Or maybe this video is fake because the girl could have simply ducked out of sight. If the person recording had gone into the building and saw nothing, then I would be satisfied that this video is real. A ghost investigating TikTok account called Gateway Paranormal TN experiences brief success when they detect the frame of a ghost standing on the table next to them.
Go walk on the other side of the desk.
Is that a mapping?
But the ghost disappears when he tries to get closer. What's especially odd about this video is how the ghost seems to briefly lean forward, as if trying to resist him, and then gets bumped out of the frame. I was thinking this looked too small to be a ghost, but when compared to the wireframe of one of the ghost investigators, it seems to be in normal proportion. Whether it's a real ghost or just a computer error, they aren't able to recreate it, so it might have been a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence, to which we'll never get the true answer.
It's gone.
What is the #1 destination to dispose of an object that's ended a life? In a river, of course. Posted to TikTok by Julian Stevens. This scary video leaves us wondering if that's exactly what happened here. The TikToker spotted a blade at the bottom of the waterway. Zooming in, you can see it's clearly a large kitchen blade. Zooming out again, you can see it's clearly in the middle of a creepy wooded area. Many in the comments suggest calling the cops. That seems like a fair assessment to me. Leonard Thomas Lake was a very evil man. It is believed that Leonard and his partner Charles Ng took anywhere from 11 to 25 lives, keeping them in a remote cabin at the foothills of the Sierra Nevada in California. After a medical discharge from Vietnam, he joined a hippie commune near San Francisco where he got married for a short time, but soon Lake found someone who shared the same dark desires as he did. It was only when Lake met Charles Ng in 1981 that the pair started their shared spree. Charles had also served as a Marine but was dishonorably discharged for theft and desertion. The two agreed to share a cabin together. Lake had built a dungeon next to the cabin. The next year saw the two partners take a number of lives, including neighbors, friends, workmates, and sometimes whole families. On the cabin property, journals, remains, and these lost tapes were discovered. Some of the tapes revealed the horrible acts committed by these two heinous men. Others showed Lake's philosophy on what he wanted in life. Although Lake didn't see justice,
if you go along with this, cooperate with this, we'll be as nice as we can to you within the limits of keeping you prisoner.
the tapes served as proof that his partner Charles was involved in the actions, for which he was convicted on 11 counts. Would you rather see a ghost reflected or see one solidly in front of you? Posted on TikTok by RickyLie27. Ricky is wandering through what looks like a massage parlor when something unexpected appears over his shoulder. The TikToker is talking to the camera as he guides viewers through and doesn't even seem to notice this creepy figure that appears in the window behind him. A woman with long dark hair dressed in white lurks there. It's not clear if the woman is standing outside beyond the window or if this is a reflection of the woman standing inside. I kind of hope it's the former, because if not, she could be right over your shoulder. This is supposedly the last footage of two guys who were driving through a forest in 2006, uploaded by Lars Helg Nedrebo. He writes, "This is some of the footage found on their camcorder. From what they are saying on the video, they were trying to take a shortcut through the forest. The footage is dark and not so clear, but it shows two friends driving along a road, laughing, singing, and generally having a good time. At one point, they are in a forested area when they come across a roadblock. One of the friends gets out to move it. The road beyond is a bit spookier. It's bordered by trees and darkness. They come across another roadblock, and the driver stops so his friend can pop out again to move it, but he can't for some reason. It's locked perhaps. He gets back in the car, and we can assume they turned around to get back onto the main road. Then, for some reason, they get out of the safety of their car and head into the forest. Bad idea. While they're walking, they hear something not of this world. The sound is disturbing and seems to scare the men who are searching for its source with a dim flashlight, but they start laughing, as it sounds strange, like an animal choking or something. Soon, however, they're not laughing. Whatever creature was making that noise suddenly attacks one of them. While the other races towards the car, you can hear him sobbing as he attempts to get back inside to safety, but he doesn't make it. The creature attacks him as well, and the camera catches him as he falls to the ground and is dragged off. We can assume neither of the pair made it out alive, as the title Last Footage would suggest. What was this creature? Do you think this footage is fake or real? It's been debated on the internet for quite a while now, whether real or not. It's quite scary. Austin is nervous with anticipation over exploring the haunted Windsor Hotel in Georgia, a 24-hour paranormal investigation challenge that will leave all of them freaked out soon enough. A young person once fell down an elevator shaft in the early 1900s, and the place has been haunted ever since. Her ghost has been seen in hotel mirrors. Objects often move on their own. Austin isn't sure if he believes the paranormal rumors until weird things are caught on camera they've left running overnight. Keys and a wallet fall off the dresser while everyone is asleep. Both objects are planted securely on an even surface and have no reason to drop unless it was a ghost or a string. I don't see either, so I'm not sure what to think about this video at this point, but things are creepy so far. One of them wakes up and goes over to investigate the bizarre occurrence. What's caught on camera next is downright strange. As they are picking up the wallet and keys, a lamp clicks off. The noise sounds exactly like the button on their lamp.
You heard? Listen. You can literally hear the flick.
Something had to literally physically turn that off, bro.
So there's no doubt that a lamp turns on, but the question or not is if it's the one that's in front of them. If there were 4 beds in this room, then I feel like there would be a second lamp behind them off camera. Maybe they were turning that one off to make the clicking noise. Still, an overwhelming number of people agree this is paranormal. 682 to 15 as of the time of this video, and given the hotel's haunted history, I trust in what they saw and wouldn't be surprised if it was real. So there's this really weird video of some strange lights in the sky that needs a closer analysis.
How many were there? 30?
30. Then they just disappear. Look, here comes more.
Basically, this guy has caught mysterious things on camera floating over where he lives in Metairie, Louisiana. His confused reaction soon spreads to other houses as more people react to the unusual lights above.
There's like 30 of them.
They keep coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, this is the real deal.
So let's get this straight. He sees almost 30 odd lights, and another neighbor verifies that they've seen them for days on end, seemingly from nowhere. What they've caught on camera cannot be explained by them, so they turn to the YouTube community for help. I think I can help solve the mystery on this one.
Those aren't Japanese lanterns, are they?
Are they?
No, because they're all going the same. It's like a little paper balloon, and you put the wick in it, and it lifts it up, and then...
Maybe it is.
He means a Chinese lantern. I looked it up, and the Lantern Festival is celebrated on the same day this video was made, so hopefully this settles other videos of mysterious lights in the sky caught on this specific day once and for all. A ghost hunter named Solo Ambush goes exploring an abandoned morgue in the woods full of creepy things. The place has been deserted for years, but the smell of bodies has buried itself into the morgue walls. This table surface must be where they were prepared for burial. On it, he finds a needle to sew whatever shut. He puts it in his pocket, which possibly upsets the spirits because that's when the paranormal activity begins. He puts an object on the table and invites any spirits nearby to make it move.
Ada lagi. Dia sudah mula bunyi.
A defiant spirit moves things behind him instead. When he goes to investigate the noise, he finds nothing, and then he gets an idea.
Okay, let's switch off the light.
A figure in red silently passes across the floor of the haunted, abandoned mortuary with its head down. He runs after it and finds only the stench of decay is left in its wake, nothing else.
Bau busuk lagi.
He says this ghost sighting could be a reflection of light, but he is standing in a dark hallway with the lights off, so I'm not sure I agree with that one. Like many of the previously haunted places he's gone exploring in the past, what he's caught on tape in this building is most likely paranormal and terrifying. And as he leaves, something slams the door closed behind him. The ghost hunter is no longer welcome to go exploring this haunted place. Not that he ever was to begin with. Folkloric Creature is insanely creepy. Published to YouTube by Romeo Candid in November of 2007, this clip claims to show a real mananagal. Some info on this mythical creature. The mananagal is a traditional and mythical Filipino creature that's likened to a vampire or a witch. The details of this horrible creature's prey are even freakier. It is said to prey on pregnant women, especially those who are sleeping. New lovers or newlyweds are also prime targets for the mananagal, which is said to have been abandoned at the altar. Now onto the clip. The video shows a group of people just hanging out in the dark, shining their flashlight everywhere. There's nothing for a while but darkness. That is, until everyone starts screaming as they see this ghastly female creature with black hair and greenish skin appear at a short distance. The creature turns to them as they cry out in horror. Many in the comments are rightly freaked out by this. YouTuber Andrew Gibbons offers a first-hand account of the Mananago folktale, saying, "Well, one thing I know for sure that I heard from an elder is that it's an old folk tale to keep kids out of the woods at nighttime." YouTuber Chowsice01 adds, "Some say that they heard it flap its wings while they're in their houses, but who knows, it might just be a bat." He also says that some truly believe that these creatures are real. After watching this video, what is this toy doing in the center of this haunted building? You're about to find out. Originally posted to TikTok by Texas Ghost Hunters, this clip has me terrified. The ghost hunters are hearing noises all around them.
没有看错。
Now watch the toy at the center of the hallway.
我操！我操！我操！它是不是动了？啊！我操！
As the toy rolls toward them repeatedly, they start to panic, but when they are brave enough to get closer, they see that nothing is attached. I'm not sure how this toy would have moved other than by the hands of a malevolent spirit. I personally think this place is 100% haunted. Do you? Check out one of the scariest things caught on CCTV video at this haunted restaurant. It's a quiet Wednesday evening with hardly any customers and only a few employees clocked in. No one is nearby when this glass lurches forward in a jerky movement, so subtle that it's hard to see at first. The manager zooms in because they can't believe what they are seeing, and sure enough, 4 seconds later, the glass moves by itself again and tips over. They think a ghost moved the object, but I'm not so sure. I know if the bottom was wet, then condensation could have made it move across the counter on its own. So is this a ghost moving objects, or just basic physics in action? The CCTV moment is too creepy for me to easily decide. What is this mysterious object in the sky? YouTuber Tiffany Campbell shares this footage of an object she says was falling to Earth.
Is that a plane going down?
I don't think it's a plane.
That's cool. What is that, James?
I'm so blind. I can't even tell you, but I don't know.
Hey, Mom, can Joey see it? Joey, look through my phone.
It's hard to tell what this object is. It doesn't appear to be falling very quickly, but that may just be an optical illusion. The streak trailing behind it suggests it's traveling at significant speed, but this could be a contrail from a plane.
Is that a plane going down?
I don't think it's a plane.
That's cool. What is that, James?
I'm so blind. I can't even tell you, but I don't know.
Hey, Mom, can Joey see?
Is this object even falling at all? It could just appear that way due to the perspective at which it was captured. I think it could just be a plane with a contrail, but it could also be a meteorite or some other unidentified flying object falling from the sky. What do you think? A user named Dolphin Treasure posted this on the Chills Narrator subreddit. After her dog Bandit started really freaking her out, Bandit keeps staring up and growling at something it perceives as a threat in an otherwise quiet, normal-looking room.
Bandit, what's bothering you?
There's a lot of memorabilia that could be bothering her dog, so one by one, she takes items off of her shelf to show. It's also worth noting that this dog has never behaved this way at any of these items on the shelf before, and was sitting peacefully in her lap moments before.
Is that who you're barking at? No. Oh my god. gosh, dude, you are freaking me out.
After a while, she concludes it's nothing on the shelf, but rather something up higher, like on the ceiling. But there's nothing up there that I can see that would hold a small dog's attention for so long, especially with such steadfast conviction. Two adventurous friends are ready to explore an old sewer tunnel, but they don't make it very far before a strange noise makes them turn right around and head back to the light.
Did you hear that? Right.
They escape the tunnel safely, and nothing follows them outside. The obvious answer is that this was some kind of laughing sound effect that they edited in later, but to me it does sound like it was coming from a distance, as if it really was somewhere deeper in the sewer. Would you take something that turned you into a zombie? Please don't do it, because it's a horrible idea. In October of 2017, a number of sightings were reported in Brazil in which humans were behaving monstrously, with some running their heads into windshields and others flailing their arms and screaming nonsense as if they were possessed. This video clip shows what a nightmare this can be.
Come over here.
He pounds the windshield as well before taking a running start at it with his head. With his arms outstretched, the boy screams into the ethers, while one guy outside holds an arm out, seemingly trying to calm him. The boy continues to scream in place before trying to smash his way into the bus again. This goes on for several minutes. Whatever this man has taken to be acting this way, just remember, it's never a good idea to do the same. A group of Bigfoot hunters are searching for clues deep in the woods when they come across something ominous glowing in the clear night sky.
Oh my goodness. See? Oh. 3. And in a different position.
3 orbs appear to form a mysterious triangular pattern off in the distance. Every once in a while, the light on top gets extremely bright and then fades away. They can't figure out what these lights are, and I'm not quite sure either. Tell me if you think this was an alien sighting, or maybe even some sort of experimental aircraft. All I know is that if these bizarre lights really are a regular occurrence around these woods, then maybe the idea of Bigfoot isn't so far-fetched after all. This video is the launching point of one wild ride. Posted to the Ring subreddit, Midship92 explains that his neighbor messaged asking him to check on his wife who was home alone because someone was trying to get inside. After going to check and finding no one, this friendly neighbor went back home, only to find this Ring video footage had been sent to him. The clip shows what the man just missed, a shirtless creep crawling up the front steps of the home, hiding his face away before trying the door in an attempt to break in. The man then lets himself down the steps and walks off. The Redditor adds in the comments, after doing this to several houses and evading police, he was finally caught. Finding the man was quite an ordeal. The Redditor elaborates further, explaining that during the police search, the suspect kept disappearing only to be seen again minutes later, after trying to catch the guy for nearly an hour, only for him to vanish into thin air. The police abandoned the search. Left to his own devices, the man again tried to get in through another neighbor's back door, but the Redditor saw him from his deck. He chased the man into another neighbor's crawl space and stood guard there until the police returned. Thankfully, the wild goose chase led to the wild goose being caught. A research team known as Ghost and Mystery wants to reveal all of the paranormal activity happening in their home country of Bangladesh, of which there is plenty to be found. They go exploring a haunted place in the woods. Everything in the forest seems to wail at them not to go inside. And someone tell me why they hear a child's voice while investigating this well.
Okay. যাই হোক হ্যালুসিনেশন বিষয়টা খেয়াল রাখবা সবাই ওটা অনেক পুরনো ওটা দেখাও ভিতরে
Freaky, right? The same ghost child's voice returns once more after they find a way inside, perhaps to shout a warning. Look again. At 17 minutes 4 seconds, they briefly pause on a large figure next to a meat hook. That can't be good. One investigator feels overwhelmed by a paranormal feeling, a wave of negative energy if you will, and they need to rest. That's when they chance upon a makeshift stick hut in the woods behind the abandoned house. Wait, I see something really scary inside. Their light crosses the glowing eyes of a large figure standing on 2 legs. It's there for but a moment, and then the unknown creature sighting is no longer caught on camera. They end the paranormal exploration shortly after by a ghost while camping in a haunted forest at night. YouTuber Jasko experiences a paranormal microaggression. Just watch.
Can you come closer to us and like let us know?
Oh, what the dude, what the just happened?
Whatever is in that dark forest, listen to Jasko's request and then some.
Like let us know.
Oh, what the
That looked really legit to me, especially due to the fact that he's holding his cell phone, which could have been water damaged. Who would risk it? Not many people can say they've been roughed up by a demon, but I think Jasko can. Number 20. 3 friends know of a haunted abandoned place in Egypt that needs exploring. Little do they know how wrong their paranormal investigation will have gone by the end of that night. Fresh writing on the wall that gives them pause. It might be a warning of sorts or maybe a puzzle. They spend quite some time trying to figure it out and never manage to. What does it say? That's when they think they hear something upstairs, something that can mimic their movements. They go upstairs to confront it and hear a noise at the bottom of the steps where they just were. As they turn around, there's a wall full of handprints marking where people were trying to get away from something. At the bottom are 2 floating white eyes. They are checking out more red handprints when their paranormal investigation somehow gets even creepier. A jinn's figure fills the doorway on the top floor. They run down the steps fast, and seconds later, the slow-moving figure somehow passes by them again. Well, they are looking up where it was last spotted. With a flip of his scarf, the bravest of all sets forth to the exit and is almost touched. Here is a still image of the jinn's face taken at 9 minutes and 46 seconds. I think it might be a mask, but what if it's really a weird misshapen face? They say this is real. Should we believe them?
And I always look up to the sky and I always say, "Hi, Dad."
That's how a YouTuber named Jennifer Moen5 pays her respects to her dad, who has since passed on. Then one day it looks like her father says hello back to her and her family.
Oh boy.
You can see a shimmering orb rise and fall to the ground as soon as she says hi to her father. I wanted to add that this is the only paranormal video on Jennifer's channel, which otherwise focuses on enjoying wholesome moments with family, so I really don't think this is video editing. I also wanted to ask that everyone please show the utmost respect when telling me if you believe this is real or fake, since it deals with the memory of a loved one. Sonic voice, shared to the Chills Narrator subreddit by 24/7 Top, this redditor wrote, "While talking in my sleep, I say what sounds like, where's some matches? And a demonic sounding reply sounds like, in kitchen. Let's watch their submission and see what they're talking about."
Matches.
I certainly hear the voice he's talking about. It's very deep, but if you listen closely, it does sound like something responds to his sleep talk.
Matches.
Given the eerie nature of the question and the response, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable sleeping in this place anymore, especially considering whatever responded to him seems to have fire on its mind. Number 7. This deep web video features a disembodied head in a skeleton mask hovering over a single candle. He speaks in Spanish and uses a voice changer, but his tone makes it clear that he has only the worst intentions in mind. Unfortunately, other than the general creepy atmosphere of this video, I have no idea what is being said here. Listen to what he says and help me translate if you can.
Meu nome é Ining e eu estarei te contando histórias mais horripilantes deste planeta. Todo domingo, às 8 horas da noite. Não tenha medo.
Something about this makes me think that he is either making a confession or telling us about future plans. Let me know if I am right about this hunch, and if you think this video is real. Filmed at the Holy Love Apparition site, the video shows 2 statues in a field backlit by the sun. Those getting the footage get closer to the statues. In the close-up, the statue's eyes appear to be blinking. While it could be an effect on the sunlight, it looks like the statue is legitimately opening and closing its eyes. Of course, there are some believers in the comments, and then there are some doubting the whole incident as well. So YouTubers, is this a miracle or just an optical illusion? Mocha Vids and his friends are making a random YouTube video late at night when a lone stranger starts walking close behind.
Dude, there's like a creeper following us.
After a while, they turn around only to find the man briskly gaining on them. Mocha Vids quickly considers his options and ultimately decides not to confront the person.
You guys want to run? Should we run? Oh, just missed the house down.
The audio gets real choppy during this next part, but I think they are basically saying that the man is darting between houses and acting really weird.
Oh, just missed the house down. Dude, he went on the side. Inside of my house.
Seconds later, he apparently charges at them.
Oh shit.
It's hard to say if the danger presented in this video is real or dramatized. You never actually see the person run at them, but at the same time that also kind of makes the video more realistic because they are too busy getting away to catch anything. Either way, they manage to run back home and the incident is soon forgotten. Let me know if you think they really were being chased or not based on what you've seen here. It's midnight when this ladder starts walking by itself in an apartment building garage. It looks like it has to be the work of a ghost, but it's actually on a very gradual ramp moving down. This middle section of the ladder, called a spreader, looks like it's too worn out to lock in place anymore, and so the ladder almost tips over and then catches itself, taking another step forward in the process. But still, somebody has to bump the ladder first to get it moving, so if this just spontaneously happened out of nowhere, then that's a cause for concern. This huge wall of security monitors shows that everything in this building is silent, and still except for a single sign going haywire. I've seen signs twisting around from the air conditioning before, but this looks a little different. The back and forth swaying seems very deliberate, almost as if an invisible force is hanging off of it. I don't have much more information about this video, aside from it taking place somewhere in Singapore. Let me know what you think of it. Who would win in a swamp fight, a deer or an alligator? You're about to see. Published by Hazy Season in June of 2019. This scary video was captured at Squaw Creek Reservoir in Glen Rose, Texas. At first, the fisherman thinks he's looking at a huge fish.
Look at those. What is that? Is that a dead fish?
But as he gets closer, he realizes it's a deer in the water. The deer is no longer alive, and it's being pulled down into the water's depths.
Looks like a deer, dude. It's a dead deer. Holy shit.
By something that is so far unseen. The crew is wondering what's gotten hold of it. They watch for a moment and soon realize a gator's got him. They then let nature take its course.
Dude, what happened? Did it just like fall down this hill? Holy.
Although we probably all could have guessed that the gator would win this battle, I'm sure we were all rooting for the underdog. The Chernobyl power plant left this place covered in radiation in 1986. Only recently was a small part reopened for tourism in 2011. The rest is still too radiated and therefore off limits. Russian YouTuber Vlad Reznov wants to test these limits. He goes exploring the woods and finds an old abandoned cottage. That would be perfect for a 24-hour challenge. Night falls. Roving cliques are rumored to be out here. Families aggressively changed by radiation who don't like outsiders, and they know he's here. They can't get inside because he's tied the doorknob to the bedpost, so they can't go around the outside.
Знаешь, что мне делать? Просто... Не знаю...
Now is his chance. He opens the door while they are trying to get in through a window. Not sure if there is more waiting for him inside and expecting to get jumped around every corner. The bike is outside. He has to get to his bike. He makes it out of there, but there's an overall lack of urgency to this video that makes me think it could be fake. We don't ever get to see this mutant family, so it could be one of his friends opening the door. They probably found an abandoned house and thought it would be a good place for a scary video, but I guess we'll never know for sure. This is not your average hanger-on. While hanging in this creepy forest, note in the first video, this is a 5-man crew. And yet, in the second video, a 6th person is lurking in the background, and he's acting very creepy. What is that dude doing back there? Is he part of the group, or do they even realize that he's there? Even if he is a member of the crew, I'd say they should keep an eye on him. His behavior seems a little bizarre to say the least. This video of urban exploration, published by Backyard Exploration in January 2015, is particularly eerie, because what's scarier than dark, damp tunnels and nowhere to turn? In the video description, Backyard Exploration writes, "As the city grew, much of the underworld was sealed and forgotten. We infiltrate the sewers in search for this lost history. Unlike many entries on this list, These guys mean business. They are decked out with gear, headlamps, ropes, and safety equipment for sewer exploration, and they will need it. The underground is a dangerous place, and if you're claustrophobic, the tight spaces might give you screaming anxiety. Even worse, if you're squeamish, you might want to sit this one out, as there's loads of wading through raw sewage. The exploration shows the bricked underbelly of the sewage system, along with the sewer rats that scurry across the ground and up the walls. Water trickles down from above as the team continues to trapeze through the dark tunnels. The team crawls and climbs through narrow channels to make sure no stone is left unturned, and at one point they even walk waist deep in sewage water, which is sometimes calm, sometimes rushing. In some areas, there are massive amounts of cockroaches skittering across the ceiling of the tunnel. All in all, it's pretty much every phobia imaginable in one. As After Dark said in the comments, this is the stuff that nightmares are made of, this tunnel. But fortunately, this nightmare does come to an end. As the video concludes, they exit the sewage tunnel to breathe fresher air and see daylight again. Sometimes you just want to kick back and relax, and then this happens. Published to YouTube in February of 2018, this YouTuber from Brandon, Manitoba, Canada writes, "Was watching TV when I heard noises, started to record and caught this." My apartment has things going on. In the clip, the uploader says he's been hearing some unexplained banging in the apartment. Soon the source of the banging demonstrates that he means business. A chair scrapes towards the camera across the floor on its own. Then behind it in the other room, a garbage can flips right over. It seems something in this house is out to get him. As Devon the 9th Hokage advises in the comments, you have to get out of there. Take Devon's advice before it's too late. This definitely looks paranormal to me. Adobe. Is this Adobe from the 1800s haunted? YouTube team Mackie and Amanda investigate the home and its surrounding forest. As they arrive, they capture an orb floating on the left of the screen.
100%. Before we turn...
Did you see it?
100%.
While using a spirit box to communicate, a strange white streak appears on the window.
It's fine. Like, it's almost like she's like, wait, it's like she grabbed your shoulder and be like,
Watch again.
Like, it's almost like she's like, wait, it's like she grabbed your shoulder and be like, it's almost like she's like, wait, it's like...
Was that a falling star? Later, Amanda feels a pain in her side, and simultaneously a strange grunt is heard.
It stopped. Okay, it's done.
What does it feel like?
It wasn't like my normal pains. It felt like squeezing.
That's weird.
Ow.
Could that have been the camera? In the darkness, they hear what sounds like footsteps.
Wait, do you hear that? It sounds like footsteps from over there. Let's shine the light. It literally sound like footsteps.
Although they don't find anyone, they hear other noises in the night.
I don't want to turn it all the way up to it. Do you hear that?
And what they describe as a raspy voice. To me, that sounds like Mackie, but then they encounter a surprise in the darkness.
There's a lot of eyes. Where? They're deer! Hi, babies! Oh, they're just deer!
Deer are camped out in the fields. They don't seem to be afraid of whatever presence lurks here. So although this video boasts its fair share of anomalies, I don't think the presence here is evil. Number 6.
This is not like your regular staircase. It's just not like where you can look directly all the way to the first floor.
A man knows his apartment building has a ghost in the stairwell.
It's a creepy place.
He nods politely at someone going downstairs. Time passes and then he notices something strange.
I haven't heard of Mexico. That's the weird thing.
He saw someone enter, he heard them go down the steps, and yet they never leave.
Hello?
More weird sounds is the only response he gets. He seems like a different person in a video update 6 months later, much more cautious, like a lot has happened to him in the time since.
Creepy things have been happening here. And I know this place is definitely haunted.
This is where things get weird in a creepy way. The door he just came through is now open, and downstairs is a dark space that suddenly clears up.
What is that? I gotta look at that. That was a shadow figure.
When he goes to where the alleged shadow figure was, nothing's there. Here it is one more time, zoomed in at 22 seconds. I might see a small figure, but help me decide if it's paranormal or just my imagination. A bolt lock can't keep the paranormal out. Published by Dark Ghost Paranormal in April of 2021. This is a true house of horrors. As Russian paranormal investigator Dennis looks around the unsettling home, something appears to let itself in. Dennis backs off and shuts the door behind him, but that doesn't stop the unwelcome guest. After verifying that there's no one there, Dennis returns to his investigation. Close by, he hears a loud knock. Later, the wardrobe drawers open on their own. And what looks like newspaper is shoved up from one of them. Then the wardrobe doors open one at a time. The second one repeatedly swings open and shut. Dennis walks toward it and there's nothing inside, yet it continues to open and close. This occurs for several minutes. Later, he hears a noise. A bunch of racket draws him to this cupboard. It sounds like all the dishes inside are jumping around. Opening the cupboard doors, he finds nothing out of place. He then hears another noise and finds a bag moving as it hangs on the wall, like there's an animal trapped inside of it. He takes the bag from its hook and opens it, but again, there's nothing inside. When he puts it back down on the bed, it continues to move. What is inhabiting this haunted home? Whatever it is, it let itself in. Smoke wafted through the Yellow Line train on January 12, 2015. While it filled the train, commuters waited over 35 minutes for help to escape. The cause is believed to have been an electrical issue in the tunnel. When the issue occurred, it forced commuters on the platform to evacuate. That's when train 302 pulled towards the platform and took off again. But it was so thick the train operator was blinded. He pulled to a stop in the tunnel. The train's fans were pulling smoke inside, and firefighters were only dispatched when they received a 911 call about 7 minutes later. Meanwhile, the passengers on the train could barely breathe and many got down on the floor. In the raw video of the train, you can see just how bad it is inside the wagon, and you can hear people cough, while most lie or squat on the floor. Over the intercom, they are told to remain calm and not to open the doors. Some call 911 to describe where the train was located so that rescuers could be sent down. Out of the 380 people who were evacuated from the train, 86 were treated, 9 were treated outside the station, and 1 passed away. Humanoids apparently come in all different sizes. The one in this video is mistakenly labeled as a goblin, though it looks completely human except for its height. The supposed goblin in this video is shorter than 1 brick tall. It peeks around from behind a wall and quickly disappears once it sees the camera. The camera follows it to the other side of the wall and finds a tiny hole that the humanoid must have escaped into. If it wasn't for the video, this supposed goblin would not have left a trace behind. This list is probably making you feel you're as unsafe inside your home as you are outside of it. This entry is no exception. Posted by Borgburger, this video captures a man who was trying to film inside his neighbor's home. Apparently, the neighbor had been filming inside their home for weeks. The homeowner's girlfriend said that the man often approached her when she was collecting post, and she felt he was creepy. He once offered that if there was anything he could do for her, just let him know. The video shows the man in his own home entering a room across from theirs. According to the video, he picks up his camera, which had been charging, positions himself on the floor out of sight, then starts recording from a corner of the window. You can actually see the red light from his video camera appear in the darkness. He peers over the windowsill to see that no one sees him. Then he resumes recording. He is again seen more clearly, standing up to look out the window. Then he ducks back down to resume his peeping position. The man filming or photographing goes on for a solid 2 minutes, and probably longer, because this clip seems to have been cut before the man finishes. The clip also shows the man being taken to the station by police. The homeowner said his girlfriend felt incredibly upset as her privacy had been violated. Who wouldn't? Considering her intuition about this man, this just goes to show that you should always trust your gut. A search of official reports of this invasion of privacy could not be found, so it's unclear whether or not this situation ended in charges being pressed against the culprit. Whatever the case, this one will make you pull your shutters closed and lock them tight. A YouTuber named Dachi YT is standing at the edge of an underground tunnel when something completely unexpected comes up running to him. The real question is whether this is a friend playing a joke, or if this is a creature that was once human. The noise it makes sounds like someone struggling to make a sentence, so maybe this person has lost their minds or is even under the effects of a possession. The small steps it takes are creepy, and it's hard to tell if he's doing them involuntarily or on purpose. Lastly, its eyes glow in the dark despite a lack of light. I want to believe it's fake, but I think the glowing red eyes indicate otherwise. Some poltergeists are gentle, others are vicious. Published by Find Ghost in November of 2021, the uploader of this video writes, "Imagine coming home to this." Security footage captures a large and heavy-looking sofa flip forward onto its face unexpectedly. A moment later, a piece of glass is catapulted from a display in the corner. The glass launches across the room and hits a wall. Then something seems to be horseplaying with the camera itself. It is rolled around onto the floor, while yet another object appears to be on its way to falling over on it. The scary video cuts out before the object does, but I wonder what else this family came home to. Heavenly Harmonies sound haunting. This one may actually be. Published to YouTube in June of 2020. This clip comes from a video that'll give you nightmares, according to the Portuguese title. The clip is gaining traction in the Spanish and Portuguese speaking YouTube communities, and after watching, you'll know exactly why it's become so popular. The footage shows a children's choir practicing, led by their enthusiastic conductor. They're likely preparing to perform for their parents in a Christmas program, judging by their Santa hats. At first, all seems normal, nothing out of place. That is until the shot zooms in on this child, who appears to be experiencing something out of the norm. The girl with long black hair leans her head back as if her actions are out of her control. She appears possessed, and her face, blurred to begin with, even disappears at some points, like it's erased from the video altogether. The young girl dips her head back several times in this manner, which is plenty of cause for concern, but it's her seeming to vanish from the footage only to re-emerge that's especially creepy. Is this girl possessed? Can the vanishing act be somehow explained? What is happening here? One thing's for sure, it's freaky. Ever felt like you were being watched? These three boys definitely had reason to. Posted by the Comics Man to the Chills Narrator subreddit, the uploader writes, some dudes go to the Danakil Desert or a park. What is in the first frame? The video shows three kids getting ready to do some parkour, everyday kid stuff, but not far beyond in the background. Look at what is watching them from a nearby tree. The figure appears like a silhouette and gives off serious Slenderman vibes. The ominous way it's lurking there makes the otherwise innocent parkour video intensely creepy. You can vaguely see the figure again at a distance. At 1 minute and 43 seconds, it continues to stand there in the clump of trees, and again around 3 minutes in. What is this thing? Do these boys have a lurker? Nowhere is safe. The power goes out and a man must go into the basement to find the circuit breaker. There's only one problem.
This is where I heard the booming at night.
Once he gets downstairs, his beam is swallowed in the darkness, and while fumbling around, he barely catches a glimpse of a pale face down there with him. And by the time he gets the flashlight to work again, it's already too late. Whatever this is a face of, ghost or otherwise, I doubt it's a mask because at 50 seconds you can see its mouth open and its smile fade away as it lunges forward. It doesn't grab him and he is able to get away, so if this is real, then it could be one of the highest resolution ghost sightings ever caught on camera to date. This room was where a man sadly ended his own life. Now his spirit is thought to be trapped in the home with no way out. They are recording a few feet from where he was found when they detect movement in the corner. Tell me if you see it because I had to watch this video twice before I did. A small shadow goes by so fast that it is almost impossible to notice without slowing down the speed. They are shining a flashlight into a pitch black room, so there really is nothing moving in front of them that would cast a shadow. Everyone likes a good bedtime story, but what if the entity who tucks you in is a ghost? A viral Reddit post appears to show this intriguing episode caught on webcam. Redditor Cheyenne Rochelle wrote, my dad has been feeling his sheets being messed up with, and someone's sitting on his bed in the night, so he set up a camera. Look at the sheets lifting up and what comes out of the side of it. It like dissolves into thin air. The creepy footage does appear to reveal what Cheyenne describes, the ghost that's been haunting them. As Cheyenne's father sleeps, the sheets creep up at one corner. Then what appears to be the head of an apparition shows itself before vanishing. As the sheet drops back to the bed, those who believe are all in with a paranormal hook, line, and sinker, with one Redditor saying he might as well just go ahead and throw the whole house away. What do you think? Can you explain this? A few have tried on Reddit, but with nothing concrete, it remains unexplained. This one's a lot more boo than peak, published by Fun with SK in May of 2022, and originally published by YouTuber Simply Sareth. This scary video captured something creepy playing peekaboo around a corner. Sareth is outside this haunted home, his camera facing the front door, when his night vision footage captures this creepy creature peering around the doorway. What is this figure? It certainly looks human in size, but is it a ghost? Or is it just a living human being so super creepy? I think these are questions we'll never get the answers to. This house is supposedly haunted, and the family room reportedly has the most activity out of anywhere. As you can see in this close-up shot, there is nothing out of the ordinary about this mirror at all. But once the paranormal investigation is underway, a woman's colorless face appears in the upper left quadrant. She is staring directly at the camera with 2 black holes for eyes. Her thin lips and nose clearly visible. As far as I can see, there is nothing in the room that could cast such a strangely vivid reflection. A YouTuber named Julie G797 was watching live BBC News coverage of a workers' strike in Hong Kong when he catches what seems to be undeniable evidence of a UFO.
There you go. Look at that. Descending on the top of that building.
The mysterious green light hangs around the top of a building for only moments before shooting straight up into the sky. This footage was taken directly from the television screen and seems very hard, if not impossible, to fake. Right now, people are mostly debating if the light is too big to be a quadcopter drone. I guess it could be a drone, but if not, I think this very well may be a legitimate alien UFO sighting. Robert Arbuckle is the name of a man whose spirit is said to still inhabit this restaurant in Florida called Pelican's Alley. 2 ghost investigators stand on the other side of the kitchen door, where Robert is seen the most. You can see it is empty.
There it goes again. You see it underneath the door? It's getting darker and darker in that left-hand side for some reason.
A side profile of a man definitely appears in the doorway, yet when they go inside, the figure is gone. The question is whether or not this was a third friend, or in fact Robert himself. This Saudi Arabian YouTuber decided to do some urban exploring in 2018. The property looks long abandoned, and they are forced to explore only by flashlight. Despite the creepy feel of the place from the very start, the men brave it out and continue exploring. It starts to appear as though the men are being watched, and on multiple occasions they check their surroundings to make sure they are all alone. It turns out their instincts are correct, as they capture what they claim is a witch. It definitely appears to be someone dressed in all black robes, with their face fully covered. I believe someone might have actually been living on the property, and they wanted to scare them away. Or do you think the YouTuber was correct, and this was an actual witch? If you're looking to have night terrors for weeks, and jump scares for days, have I got the Scream Fest for you. This clip was posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Exploring with Eric. In the video, the crew is exploring an abandoned house. The interior is in disarray. Fresh markings are painted on the walls as they attempt to communicate with spirits in the home. One crew member asks the spirit to knock once if he wants them to leave. No answer, but he asks once again to knock before they leave to let them know he is there. He demonstrates by knocking on the wall, and this time the spirit answers. Listen closely, his response is distant, but you can hear it distinctly. The spirit knocks back, and hopefully this video is proof that the crew lived to tell the tale.
Can you do that? Can you do that?
Okay. Fisherman's Chronicles gets a catch while kayaking in the San Francisco Bay, but you'll never guess what he's caught on camera, or rather, what's caught him.
Oh my, that's a fish on. That's a fish on. Oh my, this is a big fish on. I got a big fish on. Oh, this is a halibut, it's for sure a keeper.
He thinks he's hooked a halibut, but it's much worse than that. A stingray. Its whipping tail is like a serrated needle that will mess you up in seconds flat. He has to get the hook out of its mouth fast while avoiding the tail.
Wow, look at, got a good view of that. This guy's trying to sting me.
Nothing new for him. He's caught hundreds of them before, but I guess everyone can make a mistake. The tail connects and a barbed wire feeling races up his arm. Now he has to get the hook out with the ray in his lap, and he's lucky it doesn't take a chunk out of his thigh here at 7 minutes and 17 seconds. They do have razor sharp teeth. He gets to a hospital as fast as he can, and this is the end result.
Well, I had to row like half a mile back to the kayak launch with a stingray tail like sticking out of my arm.
It's healed up nicely since, and he doesn't have any nerve damage to speak of, but it's not something I would ever want to go through, and I hope he never does again. He's lucky it wasn't higher up and nicked an artery. Also, I just wanted to commend him for not getting angry at the stingray for defending itself. He focuses on getting the hook out of the stingray first before getting help for himself.
I still want to release this guy as fast as possible.
I think everyone's first instinct is to throw it back into the water, so this must have taken an incredible amount of self-restraint. A remote shanty house in the middle of nowhere. It's gotta be abandoned, right? Posted to r/ghosts by Livid Excuse 1640. This video reminds every paranormal explorer to be always on their guard. The Redditor is driving down a dirt road at night in what appears to be the boonies with no lights around apart from a faint, distant glow, and yet in the middle of nowhere they come upon a rundown white house. It's dark and clearly abandoned, or so you think, as the Redditor drives slowly past, shining a flashlight onto the house. He spotlights its empty and broken windows, nothing else. That is, until he zooms in on a center window. Here appears a white hooded figure without discernible features. The realization of what they're seeing scares them enough to drop their camera and drive away, while many Redditors in the comments believe the figure is a squatter, rather than a ghost. This sighting at an assumedly abandoned house would be unsettling regardless. The Redditor writes in the comments, "I've been in the house once and it's like the people living there just up and left clothes in closets, dishes in the sink, toys on the floor. It was wild. I got halfway down the hallway and something that felt like pure evil came over me and I ran back out." He also shares some still photos with varying exposures that he took from the clip. What do you see in the Rorschach ink blot? This is only a test. Hannah Atkinson is excited to open her eBay mystery box that she has bought for just under £20. Inside are a variety of trinkets that Hannah seems genuinely happy to receive, but then she comes across a bottle of sunscreen that I personally think is a little odd and suspicious.
And it's taped at the top with the same tape that's on the box, so not too sure what that's about, but that's fine.
Hannah has no use for the mysterious taped up bottle since it is wintertime in the UK, and she decides not to put it on. I guess this bottle could truly just be some leftover sunscreen from someone who wanted to give it away, but it could also be filled with just about any kind of chemical you could imagine. Let me know if you think this was a legitimate bottle, or some kind of trap devised by an online sadist. More importantly, let me know if you would have been brave enough to test the product with your own skin. YouTuber named Wokun Cha is on a mission to explore the most haunted places in Pakistan faster than anyone in the history of ghost hunting. Since August of 2019, he has investigated no less than 60 paranormal locations, but for time's sake, let's focus on these top 3 scariest ones. In September of 2019, he travels to a house possessed by demonic desert spirits called jinns. He takes a single step in the first room and already feels a cold presence warning him to stay away. Then the door across the room closes so slowly you have to watch the shine of his camera light to see it. When he fearlessly takes a few steps forward, a ghostly white arm reaches for the knob to shut it the rest of the way, at which point his flashlight turns itself off. The same door clatter loses again behind him. Someone's on the other side, but whether it's a ghost or a member of his crew is what I want to know. Also, what is he saying here to provoke such an angry response?
यहाँ कोई मौजूद है? क्या अपने होने का सबूत दे सकते हैं? अल्लाहु अकबर.
Nobody is on the other side of the door, at least no one that I can see, though I suppose someone could be ducking under the camera here to make it look that way. But that's when he sees it, the thing responsible for closing the door, a white apparition who glides away without a word. It's creepy for sure, but also questionable, because he sees the ghost and then enters the room looking the exact opposite way for some reason, which makes me think that they could have digitally added the ghost later. Next, he hears something so eerie and insane that it almost has to be edited. Let me know if you think it's legit, because if so, then this is pretty much proof of the supernatural. Voices, perhaps children, whose lives the jinn has snuffed. The ghost hunter understandably seems reluctant to go any further, and perhaps senses a great danger is near. As it turns out, he's right. No one seems to be inside of this room, but as he timidly rounds the corner, I think I see this gray figure in a cloak standing on the other side. The jinn itself, it's blurry, yes, but something nonetheless seems to be looking straight at him. The top arrow is its face, and the bottom its outstretched hand, palm up. He flees then and there, but on February 2nd of 2020, returns to the home for another look. I think they might be saying that something is on the roof here, but I need your help to translate and make sure.
ये देखें, आपके सामने।
Apparently, whatever it is, it's now in the room with them, so they step outside. They take a short breather, but as soon as they're back inside, the trouble starts once again.
ये गिरा हुआ, ये अचानक ही गिरा है नीचे।
I'm pretty sure he's asking for confirmation of a ghost during this part, and soon he gets a response.
देखिए आप जो भी हैं, मैं आपको नुकसान पहुंचाने यहाँ नहीं आया।
At which point this chain on a nail begins to sway back and forth for well over 10 seconds completely on its own. Doors slam shut, but Wokun Cha is determined to go further than before, and eventually he comes across a bizarre straw hut that fills him with unexplainable dread. The earth looks recently disturbed. Anything could be buried beneath the rubble. He's contemplating the structure when the spirits become restless. Or maybe it's just a string tied to a tree. Either way, he seeks shelter in an area that's just as haunted as everywhere else, and soon he hears voices coming through the walls. At this point, you would think nothing could stop this fearless explorer. Doors slamming, groaning moans, and objects moving on their own aren't enough to make him leave, but the part that scares him the most is literally nothing at all. A presence that we can't see and only he can feel. Is this part real or just good acting?
अजीब सी कंडीशन है। अल्लाहु अकबर, अस्तगफिरुल्लाह, मुझे धक्का दीजिए किसी ने।
He turns around and looks at the corner as if something had just brushed by. Whatever touched him leaves him too scared to re-enter. I've saved the creepiest one of all for last, a paranormal adventure that takes place on October 23rd, 2019. That's when Wokun Cha travels to a site full of unmarked burials. Many of them are child-sized. It's a calm night and crickets chirp as he says a few words that I would like translated because they sound very somber and sorrowful.
अल्लाह ताला की मेहरबानी से मैं बिखरी से हूँ।
The stillness of the night is soon replaced by a rushing whisper that sounds lonely and paranormal, a rising cry of anguish possibly originating from the other side of life. As he reaches an old memorial, he hears another voice call out, a near laugh. And approximately 2 minutes later, the same voice laughing. His nervous fear is overpowered by a morbid curiosity to stay and see who the voice belongs to. I was halfway expecting a hand to bust forth from the earth, but what happens next is just as frightening.
Allahu Akbar. Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. मेरे दोस्तों वो साया है मेरे दोस्तों वो
He checks around the side of the building and sees nothing. He's all alone again, just himself in the graves. I wish Wokan Shaw all the best, but at the same time really hopes he slows down to a safer rate of exploring. If he keeps this up, it's only a matter of time before something really bad happens to him. And at this rate, he might not even make it to his 100th video. Thank you so much for getting me to 50,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 60,000 subscribers next. Thank you.